Hey guys, it is day number 19 of 366 days of Facebook Lives, and I'm Alan Thomas with Rethink Dieting and part of Transform My Future. And what I do is I help overweight individuals overcome the weight that holds them back from living the futures they're designed to live. And you know, that sounds like kind of an aloof topic, and I was thinking earlier today about one of my clients, Matt McWilliams. We just did actually a training recently, and he kind of popped something in there. I think he's lost about 90 pounds of fat and 60 pounds of weight, I believe, 90 pounds of fat, right around there. And because he's built a lot of muscle and done that, and I never told him what to eat, never told him what exercise to do, because that wasn't ever the problem. And but what was so incredible, and it really just kind of he jolted me with it, was when he was talking about he'd just bought insurance. I talked about this a little last night, but I've really been thinking about it a lot. He bought life insurance, and his life expectancy was increased. I think he said something like 15 years because of the weight and his physical condition that he changed, and it's just it's incredible. And I remember on the day that I called him, I actually reached out to him. We had a mutual contact because I felt like he was somebody that I could help. And it was, I asked him that day, really, did he want help? But what I was really asking was he ready to take a stand and make the decision to finally get the weight off? And it was just one of those moments, and we become great friends, and it's been incredible to watch his journey, and as well as the journey of the other Rethink Dieting clients, because it was never about your diet. I mean, this time of year, people are taking all these, trying all these different diets, and they're all probably pretty good. I mean, if you're 100 pounds overweight, or 50 pounds overweight, or 200 pounds overweight, they're probably all going to work. The challenge that every one of the people I talk to, and I talk to dozens and dozens of people every week that struggle with obesity, and I use the word obesity. You might say, well, I don't have obesity. Well, look it up. When I was 304 pounds at 5'11", I was morbidly obese. That's a BMI of greater than 40, and people say, well, those charts aren't really that accurate. Well, 304 pounds at 5'11", I was a little chunky, you might say, and clearly I'm being, I'm being sarcastic. I was huge, and it's interesting. We've gotten so connected to being, it's okay to be, a little overweight. In a little overweight, I'm not talking about 10 pounds. I'm talking about 50 pounds. And I'm not talking about if you carry a lot of muscle and that kind of thing. This is not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're somebody that really can't put down the fork, and you know it. And it's, when I hit 304 pounds, it was in 2017. And I tell this every night because I know where people are coming from who struggle with their weight. It's, hitting 304 was such a surreal moment for me. I realized that I was likely, at age 55 at that time, I was likely to live less than 10 years. And it was because I'd spent over a decade in the life insurance business to seniors. I was dealing with burial insurance for senior citizens. Well, that's people typically over 65. And I couldn't remember meeting, out of literally hundreds and hundreds and into the thousands of houses that I'd been in over those years, I couldn't ever remember meeting a man 65 years old that was more than 100 pounds overweight. Now, I'm sure they're out there. It wasn't a scientific study, but it was a moment. It was a take a stand moment. And I literally felt that everything that I wanted to do, everything I wanted to achieve, was going to be cut short because of the fact that I wasn't willing to take a stand. I haven't met one individual, not one, that didn't know what to do to lose weight as far as nutrition. I hadn't met one individual that didn't know that moving your body a little bit and some exercise is good for you. And it's just really, we've become slaves of the, oh, I can't. and because I can't stick to a diet. I can't do this, and I can do it for maybe a week or two, but gosh, when something comes along that I have to eat, I just get off of that diet. And I hear that over and over again, and it's just not true. You can, and because look at what it's costing you. I mean, when I get on the phone with people that are interested in my program, I'm always interviewing them. I really am. I'm not right for everybody, and I'm very open about that. But it's what I want to know is what's it really costing you? When one of my clients was talking about the shame of getting on a ride with his young children, getting on that ride and having what he called the walk of shame of getting on the ride, and the guy who runs the ride at a theme park not being able to close the chair, the seat, because he was so big, and that in that having the walk of shame of getting off that ride, taking his kids with him because he was too overweight to ride that ride. And he would go through the whole theme park saying which rides could he ride because he wanted to have that experience with his child. That has nothing to do with health. That has nothing to do with, my ankles hurt. That has nothing to do with, my joints hurt. That has nothing to do with all these things that we say are important to us. That's the real reason people lose weight. And he was telling me when he'd gotten only 30 pounds down, and he's gotten way more than that down now, but when he'd just gotten 30 pounds down, he was able to go in that theme park and have that feeling where he wasn't going to be put to shame by some, theme park ride operator, and his kids were going to be able to experience something that they hadn't been able to experience with their dad. I mean, are you kidding me? Is that not worth taking a stand for? Is that not worth taking a stand and really choosing faith that you can get through the diet over the fear? And so when is it time to take a stand? When I hit 304 pounds, and I'm not recommending 304 pounds, by the way, that was my day, and it was go time. There was no way I was going back, and it's what led me to 260 days later reaching 175 pounds, and that was coming up on 4 years ago, excuse me, because it's 2021. Hello, Happy New Year. And when I see people that just aren't ready to take a stand, it breaks my heart. And it's nothing more than one more day of obesity, one more day of getting in chairs that are uncomfortable, one more day of standing in front of the mirror and feeling like a failure, because I felt that way. One more day of, for the individuals that, are business owners or work in corporate type work or anything like that, where you walk into the office or the boardroom or on a video in a Zoom video now, and you're just ashamed to even be seen. You want to look around the room and see who's more overweight than you are. You go to the beach and you look around, because I did this. I looked around, well, can I take my shirt off? And I didn't want to, but I was there with the kids. We lived a mile from the beach, but I'd look around. Was there somebody fatter than me on the beach that I could compare myself to and make myself feel okay? Normally there was a lot of fat people on the beach, really big ones. And, I'm not saying that to be unkind, but that's what I did, and that's what so many people do. And it just wasn't, I was never ready to take that stand, because it was always about a diet. It was always about exercise, and I just couldn't figure it out, because it was like, there's got to be one that works for me. Well, the answer was I was looking at it wrong. I had to rethink the whole dieting process, and that 260-day journey really led me out of the wilderness of obesity, and that's what I do with individuals right now. Another client I was talking to today, who's just rocking it. He's won in every area of his life except his weight, and now he's in charge. He lost weight over Christmas, lost 10 pounds, the month of December. Who does that? I never told him what to eat, never told him what exercise to do. We built the mindset to be something different. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist. Don't claim to be any of that. I'm certainly not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a physical fitness expert. So how am I able to get these folks to get results when they do the work and are committed to it? Well, that was what I learned on my journey. And, I just believe the diet industry has been telling you about 10% of the truth. I don't think they've been lying to you intentionally. I think that they believe that, oh, this diet's better than that diet and all this. And certainly there's different arguments for different ways of eating that are absolutely valid, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, really, is it the diet or the fact you can't stick to it? I mean, that was me. I mean, I failed on so many of them, it's crazy. I mean, literally, probably about 6, 7 dozen diets that I failed on, many of them multiple times. In fact, the way I ended up losing my weight was a diet and eating plan that I failed on 7 or 8, 9 times. It was never about the diet. Do you have to change what you eat? Of course you do. I mean, it's not magical. Nobody's going to wave a wand and you win the weight loss lottery and be able to go eat anything you want, anytime you want, like you think the thin people do. And some of them actually probably do, but most of those thin people make it a priority to not be overweight. And so I wonder if you were treating your business or your finances like you treat your body, would you be broke? Would you be bankrupt? And that's what we do with our weight. And so I'm on a mission. I am. And I'm passionate about it. It's because I just believe that anybody can get the weight off. And is it simple? Yes. Is it easy? No. Do you have to have strategies and structure? 100%. You absolutely do. But the process has got to be rethought, because on the other side of the weight loss is a new life. It's a guy who can get on the ride with his kids and be the dad that he wanted to be. It's being able to take a test for life insurance and they rate you 15 years more life expectancy than you were 3 years prior. It's being able to be there with your grandkids, to be the one taking care of others rather than the one being taken care of. I mean, to be that individual for that. I mean, it's so much more than just your health. The health is important, clearly, but it's so much more. And so when I talk to people, I was the guy laying in the middle of the road bleeding to death, metaphorically, with my weight. And thank God I weighed 304 pounds. I mean, thank God I did. And people say, well, that's silly. Well, no, because it gave me a perspective that I couldn't have bought with $1 million of education. It was the most educating thing that I've ever been through, and it gave me a perspective, because when I did get the power over the fork and spoon, man, it was game on. And so I'd submit to you, when is the time to take a stand? Now. Now, right now. Right this minute, not tomorrow, now. If you struggle with weight and you're 25, 50, 100, 200, 300, 400 pounds overweight, your time to get it off is now. You can't wait. You don't know what waiting will do. So, sorry to go so long tonight. I know it's late if you're on the East Coast. The folks listening on the West Coast, it's dinner time there. And, so I bring up dinner time. But, if you guys are stuck, maybe you just started one of those diets and maybe it's already a struggle for you. Maybe you've already lost the battle. Well, you don't have to lose the war. But if you're stuck and really don't know what to do next, reach out to me, transformmyfuture.com/apply, and book a breakthrough session with me. During that session, we're going to map out a strategy. We're going to figure out what this is really costing you. We're going to figure out how to go from where you are now to where you want to be. And be encouraged. It is possible to get the weight off. Is it magical? No. Is it possible? Oh, yeah. And is it fun when you get there? 100%. So reach out to me, transformmyfuture.com/apply, and that's in the notes. Also, check out my training video. I've got a training video up. It's you can go to rethinkdieting.com, and it really walks out a lot of the steps that I used, really the 5-step strategy I did use to go from 304 pounds to 175 pounds in 260 days. So check that video out. Share it with a friend. Somebody who's struggling, man, hey, I've had people tell me that that it really was a game changer in their life. I've had people call me and say, man, it changed everything for me. I know a friend of mine, good friend of mine, Justin Bell, who went through my process. He had his pastor heard, about he's got Faith Biz podcast, by the way. Check his podcast out. He's an expert on Amazon, but Justin said his pastor lost, I forget how much weight it was, just by listening to the podcast that we did. So this is real. I take this stuff seriously, and because there is a way out. If you're looking for the magical diet, you're not going to find it. If you find it, tell me, because I want to know. But if you're looking for a way out, a way through the wilderness of obesity that maybe you haven't tried before, reach out to me at transformmyfuture.com/apply and check out rethinkdieting.com. See you tomorrow.